How to allocate the time between two parents in a co-parenting situation is not always spelled out in black and white, but the inclusion of a clause for the right of first refusal may help out with that situation. Hi, I'm Sean with the PALMER Law Firm, and I've been practicing family law in the great state of Texas for the last 19 years in the Galveston and Houston areas. And I know this, that parents are the most influential people in a child's life, and the time that they spend with their children is going to shape their children's personalities and give them their first impression of what it is to be in a family. The time that a parent spends with the child is so important and so vital that the state of Texas has actually codified that as being the policy of the state of Texas under Texas Family Code 153.001, that the state of Texas is interested in making sure that each parent spends as much time with their children as is possible. But in a co-parenting situation where you're having two parties who might not communicate well, that achieving that goal of having the child with both parties as much as possible can be difficult at times. Oftentimes, not all details are written out in black and white in your possession order, be it a possession order on a temporary basis, on a final basis, be it from a mediation or by a order from the judge. Not all situations can be covered. So the issue will come up eventually when somebody can't be with the child their whole time during their possession time. So what happens then? Well, without any other thing written in the order, you're going to potentially have to get a babysitter or something, or a relative watch the child. But that doesn't really promote both parents having as much time as they would if they were together. Naturally, a parent, if they were cohabitating, would watch the child while the other parent couldn't. So what a right of first refusal clause, or what I like to call right of first refusal for babysitting, because that explains it a little bit better, basically says that when one party cannot be with the child, perhaps they're going off to work or they have something planned, then the other parent is given the opportunity to babysit the child during that period of time, even if it's not strictly during their custody period. So if you want to make plans with friends and you need a mental health day away from the child, and you want to go and do some things that couldn't involve the child, you would call up the other parent and offer them to babysit during that time. Now, if they decide to not babysit, they can't or won't, then there'll be some other portions of this clause that will detail who the parents can babysit the child with, perhaps a grandmother, or at least somebody that the other parent knows the child is going to be with. So having a clause that requires the parties to first communicate with the other parent and give them the opportunity to babysit during a period that's not normally theirs, gives each parent the security of mind to know where the child is being taken to for babysitting and periods when they can't be with the parent. There's some other pros to having a right of first refusal clause in your order that is useful when we have high conflict cases, or when people aren't communicating very well. None of these provisions should be necessary in a perfect world. And, James Madison once said that if men were angels, then we wouldn't need government. And it's sort of the same thing with parents. If parents were angels, we wouldn't need custody orders. But that's not the reality. The reality is that the parties aren't being able to communicate well in the first place, and that probably is the reason why they're in conflict, and that's why they're seeking relief from the court. But having a right of first refusal is one way to sort of eliminate the guesswork in that and promote communication, because one party is going to have to communicate with the other party about the schedule for the children. And so it promotes communication, and that's a good thing. It also promotes the idea that cooperation should be happening. The order that you have for custody will never match all of the different situations that are going to happen. So cooperation is needed, and flexibility is needed. When you have two parties who are in conflict, that's a hard thing to do, to kind of go off the script and not strictly follow the custody order. But you're allowed to, as long as it's agreed. So I find that it usually comes down to the issue of communication. Communication is what complicates custody, and is the first problem in having a good co-parenting relationship, is that things just don't get across. So the right of first refusal could actually complicate your situation, because it adds another duty to the parties if it is not communicated successfully. So there are ways around that, however. There are parenting apps that you can use that will promote communication between the parties and make things very, very clear about when a child is going to be with another parent, or when there's going to be any deviations. A lot of problems arise when parents try to send vague text messages to each other, or they get into long, wordy emails between each other that wind up triggering old emotions and make people shut down, and cooperation kind of stops. A parenting app is a program that both parents sign into, and it's a communication device. It basically keeps the child calendar in there of custody. And some of them, like Our Family Wizard, has a swap feature in which you can communicate with the other parent and offer to deviate from the schedule that was ordered. Say you want to go on vacation or something like that. You send the offer over to the other parent, and the other parent can either accept that, can reject it, of course, or make a counteroffer. Okay, so it's a good way to communicate back and forth, particularly if you're going to have this right of first refusal. And so with the right of first refusal, you have better communication between the parents if you have apps like that, which is a good combination. But the right of first refusal clause, again, where it would require one parent to offer to the other parent to babysit if the parent in custody can't do it because of work or social situations or whatever. That could very well be a useful thing in your custody case. However, it could complicate things. So if you think that the right of first refusal is an option that you'd like to explore, I recommend that you talk to your attorney about how that fits into your particular case. And if you have any questions about right of first refusal clauses or any other matter, go ahead and leave a comment below. I hope this video was helpful to you, and I wish you good luck.